On behalf of the current officers and membership of this Elks Lodge number 270, we welcome and thank you for being here to share this historic occasion with us. We're gathered here tonight to not only share the 125-year history of our lodge, but to also showcase what a tremendous asset the benevolent and protective Order of Elks of the United States of America and New Albany has meant to this city and surrounding communities through our benevolent and charitable generosity. The principles of our order are charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity. And our motto is Elks Care, Elks Share. We submit that New Albany Elks Lodge number 270 exemplifies these virtues. We are proud of our heritage, and we are proud to say that we are all about giving back to our community. Again, on behalf of the 350 members of this lodge, we welcome you all tonight. Now I'd like to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests. Please hold your applause till all have been announced. And if you would, stand up when I call your name. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Randy Snellenberger. He's our current Indiana State Elks Association president from Sullivan, Indiana Elks Lodge, number 911. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Ed Clare, our state House representative from New Albany, representing District 72. And then I would like to also introduce the City of New Albany, our good mayor, Jeff Gahan. Jeff, please acknowledge these gentlemen and thank you. And now I think Mayor Gahan has a few good words for us. Jeff? Good luck.
Thanks, man. Sit up here too. Yeah. I'll take advantage of this.
There you go.
How's that? It's pretty funny. Hey, good to see everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Just a couple things I couldn't help but notice when I walked in the lobby there, a check for $84,597 to our community. That's outstanding. That is outstanding. So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight, is just all the contributions that the Elks Club has done for the city of New Albany. So I'll get into that, but I want to welcome everyone to the New Albany Elks Lodge, of course, and thank you for attending tonight as we celebrate 125 years of service and fellowship here in New Albany. As you know, for any organization, it's no small feat just to be surviving at 125 years. But I am thrilled to report that the New Albany Elks Lodge 270 is thriving at 125 years. So give yourselves a big round of applause. It's absolutely outstanding. I want to thank each and every elk for their membership and commitment to making this lodge one of the top performers. This could not happen without great members who pay their dues and volunteer on a regular basis. So thank you so much for your service and all you put into it. Also, I want to thank our exalted ruler for his leadership and his success at making this post take off. So let's hear it for our own exalted ruler, Mr. Ed Snelling. Outstanding stuff. Yeah. Also, I want to thank Tammy Hogan for putting this on tonight. Is Tammy here? It's here for Tammy. As mayor of the city, I want to thank the Elks Lodge 270 for their generosity to our various departments. Thank you for supporting our animal shelter. Thank you for supporting our police department and their DARE program. Thank you for supporting DNA, or Develop New Albany, over the years. Thank you for supporting the VA hospital, the Clothe a Child program, the Arts Council, St. Elizabeth's Catholic Charities, Hope Southern Indiana, American Red Cross, New Albany Floyd County Schools, and thank you for that wonderful reading program where you go in, the Elks actually come into schools and talk and read books to children. It's excellent. Thanks for supporting the ROTC, New Albany Little League. See, this type of support is invaluable when it comes to building a community. As you can see, the New Albany Elks are at the center of it all. So thank you very much for all the support around our great city. I recognize, and it's become clear to me and many others, like your motto says, the Elks care, the Elks share. The Elks care and the Elks share. So thank you very much, and let's get started on another 125 years. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mayor Gahan. Also, Mayor Jeff Gahan is a member of this lodge.
There you go.
And we also, he's also done a tremendous job improving the quality of life and the economic development of this great city. And we thank you for your leadership, Mayor Gahan. Thank you. Before going to our next speaker, I would like to acknowledge some more of our distinguished guests. We have some Elks state and district officers in attendance. Again, please stand when I call your name and then hold your applause until all have been recognized. Mr. Mike Jack, our state president-elect from Greenfield, Indiana Lodge, number 1720 of the Southeast District. Mike will be filling Randy's boots next year.
They're huge.
Mr. Chuck Gray, our state secretary from Columbus Lodge, number 521. He was going to be here tonight. I'm going to recognize him anyway because he will be here tomorrow. Mr. Don Sheff is our Grand Lodge Special Deputy from Bluffton, Indiana, Lodge 796. Turned out he couldn't make it tonight, but he will be here tomorrow afternoon. I want to recognize Mr. Jeff Willoughby, our Southeast District Deputy Grand Exalted Ruler from Greenfield Lodge, number 1720. And also, we're going to recognize Ms. Kim Demery, our Southeast District President from Franklin, but Kim fell ill to the flu bug, and she and Mike could not make it tonight. But let's acknowledge these great state elk leaders. Thank you. And we also have some Indiana Elks past state presidents in attendance. Again, Mr. Don Sheff, but he is from Bluffton, but he is not here tonight. But Mr. John Sire from Jeffersonville Lodge, number 362, state president in 2013-2014.
You know, when I come over to speak behind that podium, you never give me that. I look like Elroy, all you can see is my nose. I want to thank you.
That's because we just love making fun of you, John. Now I want to introduce Mr. Dick Dunn from Newcastle Lodge, number 484. He was our state president in 2014-2015.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Dick. Thank you. And then we also have some past district deputy grand exalted rulers in attendance tonight. Mr. Don Craig from the Albany Lodge, number 270. Mr. Stephen Scott from Jeffersonville Lodge, number 362. And again, Mike Demery, Franklin Lodge, number 1818, but could not be here due to illness. Thank you. And I would also like to acknowledge our past exalted rulers that are in presence tonight. We have Mr. Alan Miller. Alan, what years were you ER?
02, 03, 01,
I guess I was going to say, you failed the test, Alan. Mr. Ron Brown, our current secretary, past exalted ruler. Ron? Mr. Don Craig. And myself. I'd like to thank you. Just give a hand to those gentlemen. I want to give a special recognition to Mr. Jim Hook. Jim wanted to be here tonight, but was hospitalized earlier this week. He had to cancel. Jim Hook was ER at this lodge in 1963-64, the year of the fire that destroyed the old lodge before this was built back the way it was. But I talked to his son this morning. He was released from the hospital yesterday, and he's home now and is resting and should recover. So let's keep Jim Hook in our prayers.
You missed one. Steve Scott.
Mr. Yes, I covered him under district deputy, but we have Mr. Stephen Scott, who is also a past ER here. Thank you, Stephen. All right. Thank you. Now that takes us to our next speaker. He's the current president of the Indiana Elks Association from Sullivan, Indiana, Elks Lodge number 911, Mr. Randy Snellenberger. Randy?
If you don't mind, I will opt out of the pedestal. Ed contacted me many, many weeks ago, wanted to make sure that I had the flexibility to get this on my schedule. It is a busy schedule. This afternoon I was in Lebanon, Indiana at the state soccer shoot for the kids in the state of Indiana, and that was a real pleasure. So jumped in the car and beat it down here, and I got to the hotel about the same time Ed walked in the door, so that worked out really good. My presentation's not scripted. In fact, at the hotel, Ed and I talked briefly. I said, well, what would you like for me to say? So we mutually agreed that it's not a secret. Most people realize within their community how important the Elkses are. What the Elks Lodges do for their community. Veteran service, scholarships, youth activities, drug awareness programs, the hoop shoot and the soccer shoot. But as this year's ambassador for the over 15,000 Elks in the state of Indiana, there's 59 lodges throughout the state. I wanted to talk briefly about our state major project. Throughout the United States, many state Elks associations have what they call their state major project. And I'm really proud of the fact that probably Indiana has the most noble of all throughout the United States. Cancer research is Indiana state major project. On an annual basis for many, many years, we've raised about $130,000 for each IU and Purdue universities. Cancer research is staffed by medical doctors, research doctors, residency doctors, research scientists, even engineers, and I'll go into that in just a second here. Over the years, Indiana Elks has raised over $9 million for cancer research. That's a pretty impressive figure for a bunch of Hoosiers, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. This last fall, this last spring, I had the opportunity to actually go to IUPUI to the Indiana Elks Research Facility, meet with the doctors, talk with the other employees and staff there, and I absolutely walked away mesmerized by the incredible things that's taken place with the dollars that we raise as Indiana Elks. It's not just the dollars that we raise that goes directly into this. It serves other purposes. There's endowments across the United States from outfits like Eli Lilly's and Merck and Pfizer's and the U.S. government, people we've heard of. But the proviso on those dollars is that if they have a $150,000 endowment that they're willing to give out for cancer research, you have to have $150,000 of your own money to qualify. Well, that's where the Elks money comes in. They can take our dollars and put that on the table and then bring in this other money from all over, different outfits all over the United States. And it's pretty incredible. While I was there and visited with the doctors, I actually got to look under the microscope. One of the incredible things that they've done is concentrate on leukemia. And thinking outside the box, we all know that in the United States of America, to get a drug approved can take over a decade. Millions and millions and millions of dollars of research, studies that has to go through and be submitted and reviewed by peer scientists and peer corporations to make sure that it can go out into the general public. Well, there's a doctor up at IUPUI in the Elks Research Center that started thinking outside the box. He actually looked at the chemical composition of some of the drugs that they were trying to get approved and came around and said, what drugs in existence right now that's already approved has similar chemical properties? And he found a drug that's used for rheumatoid arthritis that was very, very similar in the chemical strain. And through research, he started using this already approved drug and found almost immediate success in fighting leukemia cells. And I got to actually look under the microscope at what this stuff was doing to cells, and it just takes your breath away. And you walk away with a sense of pride that those are elk dollars. Those are elk dollars that's bringing this stuff to fruition. Another thing that really, literally shocked me was it's not just the traditional doctors as we think that are doing this work. There was a mechanical engineer there, and I thought, how would he plug in? This young man had developed a nanotechnology device that would measure dissolved oxygen. Through research, they found out that cancer cells thrive in, and I'm not going to try to impress you with my chemistry background, but an anaerobic environment, an oxygen-reduced environment. In a normal body, we take in, we oxygenate our cells, and that's a healthy organism. But when cancer cells start to grow, they like a reduced environment, low in oxygen. So he developed this little microscopic device that could be injected vascularly, and it migrates to this target organ or wherever the cancer cells might be. And then they inject the research drugs that they're using. And through cell phone technology, it's just amazing. They have an app on their phone, and as they introduce these drugs, they can determine on their cell phone what the change in dissolved oxygen content is taking place within these cancer cells. Now, here you've got incredible young minds. And some of those young minds have came through Indiana Elks scholarship programs. So it's all vertically integrated and interconnected. So as Elks, we should be very, very proud of the wonderful things we do. And this lodge right here on the Ohio River in southeast Indiana, you can hold your head with pride because you've been an integral part of that for many, many generations. So again, it was an honor for me to be asked down here to be a part of this evening with all these distinguished people. So the honor's all mine. Thank you very much.
Randy Snellenberger, our state president. I'm impressed with your chemistry skills here, big guy. Randy has already proven to be a worthy leader and mentor to the 59 Elks Lodges in the state of Indiana, and we do appreciate you for being here. Thank you. Our next speaker is the past president of our Downtown Merchants Association, Develop New Albany. Please welcome Miss Teresa Baxter. Teresa is in the crowd here.
You don't have to catch me, but don't let me fall
All
hard.
right. I got your back, girl.
Okay, baby. I knew you would. Okay, on behalf of Develop New Albany, we want to first congratulate the Elks Lodge on their 125th anniversary. What an honor it is to be included in this celebration. Develop New Albany is a Main Street organization. We are a nonprofit, and like the Elks, we are also a volunteer-based organization. We were introduced to the Elks a few years ago after hearing their story and the good works they were doing within our community. We immediately knew we wanted that we would make a great partnership with Develop New Albany and the Elks. The Elks have generously hosted several networking events for us, our yearly Be Local event, and our annual Jingle Walk. They've raised money with their Make One Meal Matter program, and because of their generosity, then these donations, we were able to purchase gifts for each and every child that came to the New Albany City Light Up Holiday Fest. We also wanted to share their story. We share their events and happenings in our Develop New Albany newsletter, our website, media, and networking events. We are so lucky to have this group of caring people in our community. They continue to make such an impact and touch so many lives. We can all lead by example to make the world become a better place that values generosity and sharing. The Elks lead by example. They're a group of people doing good for others with no expectation of gain or recognition. Very simply, they do it because they care. Your dedication is greatly appreciated. Tonight we celebrate your anniversary, but also we honor everyone in this group. Thank you for all your dedication and making our community greater. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. One of the best decisions this organization made 4 years ago was to join Develop New Albany.
Here, here.
And thank you, because you were instrumental in getting us to join this organization. But it's been a great partnership for the last 4 years, and we look to continue to partner with Develop New Albany and our downtown merchants. Thank you. Our next speaker is from an organization that we love to support, and I'd like to introduce at this time Miss Angie Graff, the CEO of Hope Southern Indiana. Hi, Angie.
Here, let me take my heels off and then I'll get up there. We're going to have an accident. Ooh, there we go. Well, from the moment I walked in the front door, I have felt so welcomed. I just want to tell you all, good job, because I hardly knew anybody here. And I mean, I feel like now I've got all these cool people that are just smiling and happy. And this is an organization you want to be a part of. My husband and I both have the applications over there. But how cool is that? Very cool. So, thank you. But what I can tell you today about the Elks is nothing short of amazing. What happens when you see a child hungry? It breaks your heart. And some may feel sorry for them. Some may look right past them. Some may want to do something, but not really know what to do. But I'm here today because the Elks did do something. In 2014, they stepped up to feed 172 kids after school and on weekends through the Snack Attack Cafe. They gave over $1,500 to make sure that no child went hungry in Floyd County. And I get emotional because we're talking about real people here. I can give you all these numbers, but we are talking about real people that are impacted by every single thing this organization does. The next year, they took it a step further and said, well, we want to do more. Well, at Hope, we work with the school counselors to assist children in need with back-to-school shopping with a program called Cloth-A-Teen. In 2015, we had an overwhelming need in our community. And again, we reached out to the Elks for help. I'm happy to report that the Elks alone took 40 kids shopping that year and got them ready for school. That's 40 kids that went to school feeling good about themselves. That's 40 kids that had a positive start to their school year. That's 40 families that got to rest easy at night, knowing their kids were ready for school. That same year, we learned that many of the kids that needed food couldn't walk to our Snack Attack. So the Elks generously gave $6,000 that year to expand our area and offer after-school snacks and weekend meals in 5 locations in Floyd County. Now that program serves more than 300 children and teens weekly. It may be hard for you to comprehend, but for some, school meals are the only certain food that they can count on. The Elks made sure that they could get snacks after school, if there is not a family meal on the table for them. Look around this room. It was you, the Elks, that did that. In both the Old and the New Testaments, we see God's desire for his children to show compassion to the poor and the needy. And Jesus said that the poor would always be with us. He also said that those who show mercy to the poor, the sick, and the needy are in effect ministering to him personally and will be rewarded accordingly. The Elks live this daily. In 2017, Clothe-A-Teen was in full swing again, and one of our local youth shelters reached out to us to help with the kids that were awaiting foster homes. And I don't know if you know this, but a child in the foster care system gets $250 for the entire time that they are in foster care. If a child goes into the foster care system at age 3, at age 18, they still have $250. If they've spent that $250, that's it. They needed help. They're not going to get new school clothes unless we could help. Who do you think in this community stepped up to help those kids? You did. You did it. In 2016, including the kids in the shelter and the Center for Women and Families, you all provided school for 80 kids that year. 80. That shopping night at Burlington was a memorable one for our staff, because the kids from Open Door Youth Shelter personally hugged all of our staff. We only wish you were there to witness the sheer happiness and the tears that you provided. We're a faith-based nonprofit, and we seek to see the good in all things. But we don't have to look very far to see the impact you're making on this community. Last year, you were able to provide Christmas baskets for 50 families. Imagine a family sitting down to dinner at Christmas and thanking God for the dinner that you provided them. You did it. You cannot fathom the ripple effect that has on those children. Maybe the family had to choose that year between gifts and food. Maybe you're the reason that little Johnny got his favorite toy, or that Jenny got the new baby doll. This year, you have again clothed kids, fed kids. You've sponsored our seniors in our RSVP program. You've provided peace of mind to many families and the hope of a better tomorrow. Lastly, I'd like to share a letter. This was written by a single mom that we work with after she shopped for new clothes for her daughter with the donation from the Elks. It says, "Dear friend, whoever you are, you will never know the feeling I got as a mother watching my 10-year-old get to pick out new school clothes. We live in public housing, and I work 20 hours a week so I can get her to school and be there for her when she gets home. We only buy the necessities. I visit the food pantry and I participate in your programs. Many times she goes without so that I can make my rent and get my TARC tickets back and forth to work. Getting new school clothes made her happier than I have seen her in months. And I know it's hard for her, and it's not her fault that we're in this situation. I went into the bathroom at Burlington and I cried because we really needed this. She started school last week and she couldn't wait to get ready. She folded and unfolded the clothes every day to decide on her new outfit. It was funny to see her take such good care of the clothes until school started. I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You made me happy because you made her happy. Thank you, whoever you are." She was talking to you. In the last 5 years, we ran a report of what you've done for Hope Southern Indiana and all the families that you're able to help. You've given us $22,638.31. Amazing. I mean, if you're not just jumping for joy right now, $22,638. And don't forget that 31 cents. Yeah. God bless you. God bless all that you've done and you continue to do in the community. And let me just say one more thing. I was telling Ed, we had one of our churches that we work with, isn't gonna be able to help us with as many of our food baskets this year. And I was just sharing this information, and you know what Ed said? Guess what he said? Well, call us and we'll help. You can't ask for a better program than that, a better place in this community. All I had to do was have a conversation with this man. You all are blessed to have Ed. It's amazing. Thank you. I'll carry these. Unless you want to wear them. You want to wear them?
If they would match, but I don't think they're gonna match my, thank you, Angie. What a powerful testimony. Oh, gosh. It's just what it's all about. Obviously, we have a special relationship with this organization. And because they're all about taking care of people. And specifically those in need throughout southern Indiana, how many counties do you cover? 5 counties in southern Indiana. So we are very proud to support your mission, Angie. Thank you for being here tonight. Powerful. Wow, that didn't bring tears to your eyes, did it? I don't know what will. Great. Before I introduce the next speaker, we want to recognize a special member of our lodge, Miss Harriet Reed, AKA Annie. Please stand up. Our Clothe a Child program has been the lodge major project for over 25 years. Each year it grows bigger. Last year we clothed 156 kids at Christmas time over 2 weekends in December. These children are from inner city and county elementary schools, deserving families that are provided by us by the New Albany Floyd County school system, their names. We clothe, we feed, and each child gets a toy from Santa that provides maybe the only Christmas for many of these children. Harriet has been a prime mover behind this program for many years, collecting the recipients list, organizing the toy purchases. We purchase about $4,000 worth of toys every year, wrap them by age and gender. Registering the kids at the retail store. We take those kids to Walmart on 2 Saturdays in December on Grant Line Road. And matching them with a member. Each member is there to shop for each kid for $130 worth of clothes. And then she wraps this all up with a final report on how many kids that we served. And last year, we spent over $24,000 on this program, on these kids in December. In April, we honored Harriet, Annie, as our Elk of the Year for her efforts and dedication to this program. Let's recognize her one more time for a job well done. Thank you. Now, the next speaker, I'm going to have to apologize to him because our proofreader failed us and we changed his name. Instead of Mr. Chris Green being here tonight, we have Mr. Chris Street. He's the CBO for the New Albany Floyd County School System. Chris, welcome.
Trapped. If you don't like me, my name's Chris Green. I'm the Vice President of Albany Floyd County Schools. So, I'd Well, as you said, I'm Chris Street. I'm the CFO of New Albany Floyd County Schools, and I was sitting there thinking about how interconnected we are together. My church, Northside, I've attended for years, does work with Hope Southern Indiana. Hope Southern Indiana does work with our school district, and our school district does work with the Elks, and there's other organizations here that are interconnected, and really it's the same goal, to help families and kids have a better life. And that's why I'm really proud to be the CFO of the New Albany Floyd County Schools. Every day I go to work and help make a positive impact in our community, and I get to see all the good things. Coming to events like this on a Saturday night, I get to see all the good things happening throughout our community. So thank you all for attending tonight and being a part of our community. So New Albany Floyd County Schools, we have an enrollment of over 11,500 kids. We have 15 schools. We have a career center at Prosser, and recently we're just been investing in the community with a brand new Green Valley Elementary School and soon to be a brand new Slate Run Elementary School, along with improvements at about 7 to 9 of our other schools throughout this project. So we're really happy to be able to keep impacting the community, especially here in New Albany, and we appreciate your support for helping us do that. When I first took this position, my predecessor, Fred McWhorter, who was a member here, and I've been told I will be a member here after tonight, so you'll have to see me around. I actually have the paperwork in my office. Kathy Wigleb, my administrative assistant that just retired, filled it out to be my sponsor, and she said, go fill it out and finish it up. And it's been sitting there for a while. This is my reminder to do it. But he said, if there's one thing that you continue that he had done for the past few years, he said, I'd like you to be involved in the Elks and help them with the projects with the school district. And that was one of my first jobs. I took the job in October, and then November, December, we started doing the Clothe a Child, where we give the list to the counselors. They get students, as he just explained the process, and they clothed our students over $25,000 worth at Walmart, and then the breakfast tier and the gifts that they got. And what a good impact that was to see right away in this position what the great things that were happening. So some of the other things, I just created a list here from talking to some of you, some of the activities that you're involved with in New Albany Floyd County Schools. You sponsor the FC the Floyd Central Dance Marathon. You help purchase choir robes, the New Albany After Prom, basketball and soccer shootouts. I know the basketball shootout got some national recognition. Kid went pretty far in the tournament last year. Grants for the children of members of the Elks Club. Like I said, the Clothe a Child, over $25,000. And then various other opportunities I'm sure that were missed and that you all know happen throughout the community that I'm just not aware of. So thank you all for that. And I really didn't have a big message besides keep investing, okay, whether it be time or money or knowledge with the students. This past Wednesday was a rough week for me. I used to work at Monroe Shine. Mr. Bob Shine passed away, and he was such an impact in the community. So many people have such good memories and great things to say about him. I only worked there for a couple of years, and the impact on me was tremendous. And I was thinking during the funeral, why are so many people throughout the community? What's the impact? Why is that? And I just thought he invested. Okay, he invested his time. He invested money. He wanted to see you better personally or professionally or your family. Did things they didn't have to do, and did that for up to 94 years old when he passed away. So for you all, thank you for investing time, effort, whatever it might be with our community, especially our students. And at New Albany Floyd County Schools, we really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chris Street.
And he said Mr. Shine was also an Elk. So.
Yes, I was just going to point that out. He was a member here. He had been in Florida, I think, for quite a while, though. He hadn't been active, but he did keep his membership. Chris, the New Albany Floyd County Schools are important to us, and we are proud to support our school systems as well. That takes us to our next speaker, and a program that is recognized nationally for their precision drill discipline and their rifle shooting skills. This time I'd like to introduce Master Gunnery Sergeant Mr. Leonard Ackerman, the Navy Junior ROTC instructor at New Albany High School. Welcome, Gunny.
Thank you, Ed.
Number 5.
Thank you all for having me. I don't have a script. I wasn't going to say a whole lot. I was going to get up here and just talk about all of the donations that the Elks has given our program. But I have to, from listening to some of the speakers, I have to go a little bit further than that. I retired off of active duty after 22 years in 2007 from the Marine Corps. And I thought, well, I'll go do a JRTC thing just as a transition. However, once I got into it, 12 years later, I'm still there. So my transition has been extended a little bit. Angie said a whole lot of things that hit close to home with me. She talked about those kids with food baskets and clothes. Those are my kids. I roughly have about 150 cadets. I have 6 classes a day of cadets. And when I started the JRTC thing, I asked my friends, I had no idea what JRTC was. I thought it was recruiting for the military. It's not that at all. We don't recruit for the military. We are here to produce productive U.S. citizens and teach them life skills. Well, my friends all told me, well, all you do is yell at kids all day. I said, well, heck, I'm a natural dad. I ought to be good at it. Well, man, I wish they'd told me everything else. But for 12 years, I've been dealing with students. Those food baskets. My cadets make those baskets at New Albany High School before every break. I had a young lady this week come to me and she goes, Master Gunny, I need help. And I said, well, what can I do for you? She said, my mother kicked me out of the house last night and she's keeping all my clothes. And I said, well, what's going on? And she said, my mom said that some of her drugs was missing and that I took those drugs and sold them for money. And I have no clothes. So the things Angie talks about, it hits close to home with my cadets every single day. We feed them. I went home and got my daughter's clothes, and I took her 2 big garbage bags of clothes. Through the school and working with the Elks organizations and other organizations, I'm going to tell you, we need more Elks members. And tonight, I was talking to Ed Chambers. Ed and I joined the lodge here, and, you know, I get so busy that time goes by, and I said, well, Ed, I said, how long have we been in the lodge? 4 or 5 years? He goes, try 8, Lynn. So I said, well, it's been a fast 8 years. The JRTC at New Albany, we take a lot of trips, not just in Indiana. We tour all around the United States. We take them to military bases. We're not there to recruit for the military, but we want to show them that, hey, it is an option. We're always striving and working on getting not only military scholarships and appointments to the military academies, but scholarships at other universities. We take them to Purdue University, Western Kentucky, Louisville. I've taken them to Auburn University when we were down in Alabama shooting one year. So we want to show the local kids, hey, there's more to life than just Southern Indiana. You can always come back, but go experience things. If they want to go in the military, we're there to help them. Now, I'm an old enlisted guy, so I tell all of them, don't enlist. If you're going in the military, go get your education and then go in and make some real money. They don't always listen to me, but I support them fully in that. We have former cadets at Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. We've had them graduate from the Coast Guard academies, many ROTCs throughout the country. But the Elks over the years has, I can't even talk about how much money you all have given us. I didn't tally it up or anything. I know one year we took 45 people. It was 38 cadets and 7 adults, and we went to Hawaii to march in the Memorial Day Parade in Hawaii. It took us 14 months to raise $90,000 to go. And if it wasn't for the Elks, we would not have been able to take those kids to Hawaii. But we went to Hawaii. The kids were proud. They marched in the parade. We toured. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. With the demographics of New Albany, Indiana, that may be the only trip some of those kids ever take in their lifetime. And without the Elks, we couldn't do that. My rifle team last year, we went out to Phoenix, Arizona, shooting in the national championships. We won. We were a 2-time national champion. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the shooting we do is like they do in the Olympic sports. It's precision rifle shooting. If it wasn't for the Elks, we couldn't go. So the Elks fed us on that trip last year, and without that, New Albany wouldn't even been represented. As a matter of fact, the first year we won the championship was 2013. Everybody said, so are you all really from New York? Like, no, we're from Indiana. They're like, well, we didn't even know people shot in Indiana. I said, I said, you know now though, don't you? So after 2 championships, they know who we are. Each year, the Elks has an essay contest. And it is a writing prompt. And we have every one of our cadets write this essay. And for the past several years, it's been about hospitalized Indiana veterans. And I'm proud to say that each year we've had a winner, a local winner, and the Elks gives that kid $100 for writing that essay. I'm really proud to say that once that essay is graded locally, they forward it up to the state level. And we've had 2 winners, 2 state winners, where they received another $500 on top of that. So we not only want to thank the local Elks, but the state as well. Thank you so much for what you do for us. Real quick, and I'm going to leave. Stephen Scott, he lives right behind my JROTC building. And I would see him at New Albany basketball games, and he'd come over and talk to me a lot. And if it wasn't for Stephen, I would know nothing about the Elks. I'm not going to lie to you. My daughter, when she was in elementary school, did the basketball shoot, but I still didn't know what that was. I was still on active duty, so I was too busy doing other things. But Stephen came over and he said, you ever heard about the Elks? And I'm like, well, I've heard about them, but I don't know what they do. He said, we support children and veterans. And from that moment on, it's just been a great experience for me. And I became an Elk. I've joined. And I ask all of you, please do what Stephen did that day and educate others, and let's bring more members in. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Ed. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gunny. Just how many national championships have you been involved with? 2. Awesome.
Many more to come.
There you go. That was, the trip to Hawaii wasn't, they just didn't say, hey, we're going to go. They were selected to go to represent the state of Indiana at the 75th anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So it was quite an honor for the Gunny's program to be there. And we raised about $5,000 for that effort, Gunny. So we love you guys, and we support you 100%. All right. Before our next speaker, I would like to acknowledge some more important members of our lodge, our veterans. You don't have to be a veteran to be a member of the Elks, but a lot of our members are veterans. The national motto of the Elks concerning veterans is, as long as there are veterans, we will never forget them. Our lodge is a strong supporter of our veterans and our National Guard. At this time, I'd like to recognize 3 key people in our organization. Our Veteran Service Officer for the Lodge, Master Sergeant retired Don Harsey. And also recognize Ms. Martha Myers and Mr. Eddie Chambers. Martha's still in the room? She's left. Yeah. Martha and Eddie were recognized as the Indiana Elks Association Female and Male Veteran Volunteers of the Year at our spring convention in June. Thank you for your service, and let's give recognition to these folks that stand up. And that leads us to our next speaker, First Lieutenant Eric Helton, Commanding Officer of the Headquarters and Headquarters Company, 152nd Cavalry Troop, Indiana National Guard. And they train at our National Guard Armory on Grant Line Road. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Boy, what an honor and a privilege it is to be part of an organization 125 years running. That's something to me that's very special. It is true I'm an officer, but I'm aspiring to be a gunny sergeant one day. No, I do have to have a tangent here because what he does with future cadets is amazing because although he's not an officer himself, he's shaping future leaders. He's putting a part of what he's gained and his knowledge and his experience in life and serving and putting them in those future officers and those future leaders. So as much as this organization is selfless as well, and thank you guys for what you do for future leaders as well. So we are the HHT 152 Cavalry Regiment, and people are like, well, what do you do in the cavalry? You know, well, we traded our horses in, and now we have tanks, we have helicopters, we have Humvees, and we do mostly reconnaissance. And we're the only cavalry squadron in the state of Indiana, and that's what we do specifically in our Army MOS. But what we also get to do is do civilian outreach. As far as within our communities, we get to do things that help other organizations or support the community as well. Here locally in New Albany, we always search for things, and I assumed command about the beginning of this year. And when I did, I started noticing that when I'd come to the armory after PT some days on Sundays, I noticed there'd be this big table full of all these different, we call it lickies and chewies. You had donuts, you have granola bars, juices, bananas, oranges, fruits, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, who's donating this? And little did I know, it was the Elks Foundation that comes in and puts that on. You know, I can see Ed and Don comes out there. I got to meet these fine gentlemen, and a few other people who are members get to come out who are veterans and talk with our soldiers. And to me, that's great, 'cause that's family. And we want to continue that drive. Not only that, what they donate is just excellent to what we give. The other day, about a month ago, I said, Don, we're having a chili cook-off for a family day event. I said, we want you out here because you help us so much. You know, we'd really appreciate it. And he said, hang tight, because I could probably get you some things that we can donate to families. And he was able to get us some gift cards for a large sum. And really, really appreciate that quite a bit. And I know those families do too. What stuck out with me in the Army, we have 7 leadership principles we go by. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Now, I got to read on a lot of history of the Elks because I was very novice when I met Ed and his generous contributions. So I took it upon myself to do some more of this historical side of what it is in your mission. And to me, those 7 principles are just the standard. That's where it starts. Those are the basics. And to me, the things that stick out most is selfless service. All right, now look at this back wall here for your absent members, all right, that are still here in this organization because of the 125 years that's helped this community develop. And like the good mayor said, $86,000 and change, that's amazing. To me, that's a part of what we do here, the unsung heroes that make this happen. What you do for our soldiers is just amazing. We really appreciate that and all that you do for us. On behalf of Headquarters and Headquarters Troop, one of the 152 Cavalry Regiment, it is an honor and privilege to be here to celebrate your 125th anniversary, and I thank you a lot, Ed, for doing that.
All right. Thank you very much. Ron, get an application. Eric, this is the official invitation for you to join the organization. Eric lives here in Charlestown, right?
I used to have a former Charleston resident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Jeff for a while now.
Well, anyway, we thank you. This is probably one of the most gratifying programs we do, is to support our troops and to meet and engage with our many young soldiers, dedicated soldiers, who are training to defend and preparing to meet and defeat any enemy that threatens our great nation. So we thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service and all the troops. We actually get a grant. We use one of our grants for this program. We use a gratitude grant. It's $2,000, and with that we buy each month they drill. We go out to the Armory usually on Sunday morning or their drill weekend and buy a couple $100 worth of, we used to call it pogey bait back in my days in the Army, donuts and But now there's a lot of protein bars and a lot of fruit. They love bananas, so, and protein drinks. So it's a great, very, very gratifying program. We're proud to do it. Thank you. Now, I'm very proud to introduce our next and last speaker. He lives here in New Albany and represents the 72nd District in our state House of Representatives. Please welcome Representative Ed Clare. There you go. He doesn't need no stool.
Good evening. My wife, Amy, and I are honored to be here this evening with all of the members and guests. Thank you for inviting us to help celebrate your 125th anniversary. The Elks is an organization that has evolved and adapted over its 150-year history, and this lodge has also, likewise, evolved and adapted over its 125-year history. It is a more diverse organization today than ever before, and it is more engaged in the broader community than ever before. Of course, there are challenges. I have enjoyed getting to know Ed and other members of the lodge and getting to work with them on some issues at the state level, particularly around charity gaming, which is a big part of this organization because it's a big part of what allows you to carry out the good works that you carry out in the community. So I think everybody knows that it has become more and more difficult in recent years to get the volunteers to keep the events going and make everything work. And we've been working on the issue of what's referred to as remuneration of charity gaming workers, or the ability to compensate or pay folks who are working in the charity gaming activities. And Ed and I have been working on that along with others in this room for a couple of years. Ed represented you all very well. Let's see, it was a week ago Friday. Yeah. He was at the State House testifying. We've made incremental progress on this issue, and one of the developments was a summer study. It was assigned to a legislative summer study committee this year, and that hearing took place, as I said, a week ago Friday, and Ed went up to testify. Did a great job not only representing this lodge, but also the Indiana Association of Elks. He spoke for the entire state association as well, and also raising the issue on behalf of other fraternal and veterans organizations. So I look forward to continuing to work with Ed and others on that issue. I did have to caution him, though, when he was testifying in the House chamber, that they may not refer to him as exalted ruler. So, but hopefully that was okay. As I was preparing to speak this evening, I was reading through some material about the Elks and the proud history of the organization, and one of the things that I ran across was the practice of never bringing political or sectarian questions into the order. So I don't know if anyone has noticed, but there is an election coming up in a couple of weeks. Has anybody heard that? Maybe you've seen an ad on TV or gotten something in the mail, possibly. So I was excited to come here tonight for a lot of reasons, including the fact that this is probably the best respite any of us will have from politics for some time to come. So I appreciate that. Politics may be off limits here at the lodge, but the Elks offer an important solution to improving our political discourse and helping to bring us together as a community. Also, in preparing for this evening, I thought about the Elks' role in the community as an organization, and it took me back to a book from 2000. Some of you may have heard of it. It was by a professor named Robert Putnam, and the book was called Bowling Alone: The Collapse and Revival of American Community. And I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs from a description of the book from the publisher. In a groundbreaking book based on vast data, Putnam shows how we have become increasingly disconnected from family, friends, neighbors, and our democratic structures, and how we may reconnect. Putnam warns that our stock of social capital, the very fabric of our connections with each other, has plummeted, impoverishing our lives and communities. Putnam draws on evidence, including nearly 500,000 interviews over the last quarter century, to show that we sign fewer petitions, belong to fewer organizations that meet, know our neighbors less, meet with friends less frequently, and even socialize with our families less often. We're even bowling alone. More Americans are bowling than ever before, but they are not bowling in leagues. Putnam shows how changes in work, family structure, age, suburban life, television, computers, women's roles, and other factors have contributed to this decline. Again, that's from the description of the book. I believe the Elks are part of the solution. This lodge is part of the solution. Each of you is part of the solution. What you're doing here is building and growing and expanding social capital. Your good works are benefiting more than just the dozens of organizations that you support directly. Your good works are benefiting our entire community by bringing people together and building social capital. Now, on a lighter note, I have a joke. Some of you may have heard of this. I couldn't resist when I found this as I was doing my research, so you'll have to bear with me if you've heard it. Two men were riding in a truck together through Montana, observing the wildlife along the way. Anybody heard this? Good. Upon spotting a wild elk, the first man says to the other, "Did you know that elks have sex about 10 to 12 times a day?" The other man replies, "No." Thinks about it for a second. He says, "Oh, no." "What's wrong?" the first man responds. The other man says, "I just joined the Masons." So you can substitute anything you want for Masons. Knights of Columbus, Lions, Kiwanis, VFW, American Legion, Rotary, pick your organization, but I think the joke underscores the importance of choosing wisely when you seek to join an organization. So this is a great organization. I have many friends in this room, and again, I'm honored to be with you this evening to celebrate not only your anniversary, but the good works that you are doing in the community, everything that this organization means for our community. And Ed, what's the membership now?
350.
Okay, we'll make that 352 because Amy and I are going to go ahead and fill out the application if you'll have us. Thank you all.
Fantastic. Ed, we really appreciate you. Let me share this with you about Representative Ed Clare. He is a real friend to nonprofit organizations in this state. He understands the plight of nonprofits, especially when it comes to charitable gaming, and is working hard to introduce legislation that will level the playing field for nonprofits to allow for remuneration of bingo operators and workers, and legislation to allow video gaming terminals into our lodges and posts to help generate income to prevent more doors from being closed. As everyone knows, we're losing lodges, we're losing American Legion, VFW posts, just due to lack of funding, decline in membership age. So we need more sources to be able to keep these organizations going, and Ed Claire, we appreciate what you're doing in that effort. Thanks for your support. Let's give a big hand to all of our speakers tonight. Now, at this time, I'd like to recognize all of our current lodge officers that are in attendance. Would you please stand? These are the ranks that thinned out here. Mr. Ron Brown is secretary. Who else do we have here? Phil Resch is our leading knight. He will be in the ER shoes next year. Fortunately, he has much bigger feet and he won't be able to fill these shoes well. Tammy Hogan is our esteemed lecturing knight. And Mr. Bryce Lanham is our esteemed loyal knight. So we have all of our chairs there. And I want to give special recognition to our committee co-chairs, Tammy Hogan and Don Craig. Would you please stand? And tough plan. They did the bulk of the planning for our event tonight, and on the back of your program is a list. Tammy did a great job of getting a pretty good percentage of our membership involved. So I've even got a video. I had a video taken of the ER painting and working diligently in the lodge.
In dress shoes. And
Mr. Brown, have you got a minute here? Can you can you get to the chime button?
I don't know. Let me
See
see.
if you can. Yeah, when I was at the State House, and I was announced as the exalted ruler, I did tell them that just a simple knee would suffice. They didn't have to bow.
Very good.
Let's see here. Pardon for the delay here. Find it?
Not yet. I'm working on it. Tammy hit it well.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that it there? That's what. Huh. Okay. At this time,
Hold on, let me see if it works. It's
all
working.
right, okay. Well, we have to go through the whole series.
Yep.
All right. It was a little premature, but we'll make it work anyway. But this time, we'd like to do a tribute to our absent members. We shall meet, but we shall miss them. There will be the vacant chair. But though we no longer possess them, still our hearts, their memories bear. But a while ago we gathered, friendship beaming in each eye. Now the golden cord is severed. They have passed to realms on high. And I'm referring to our absent members on the wall over here. In vain we call. They have passed into the light, which is beyond the shadow, beyond the valley of the shadow of death. The places that have known them shall know them no more. But their virtues are written upon the tablets of love and memory. To our absent members. Mr. Craig, Phil, are you prepared to do the?
Sure.
We'll do one more. Here, and we'll-
This is the original Jolly Corks toast for 11 o'clock. Now is the hour when Elkton Tower is darkened by the shroud of night, and Father Time on his silver chime tolls off each moment's flight. In cloistered halls each elk recalls his brothers where'er they be, and traces their faces to well-known places in the annals of memory. Whether they stand on a foreign land or lie in an earthen bed, whether they be on the boundless sea with the breakers of death ahead, whate'er their plight on this eerie night, whate'er their fate may be, wherever they are, be it near or far, they are thinking of you and me. So drink from the fountain of fellowship to the brother who clasped your hand and wrote your worth on the rock of earth and your faults upon the sand. To our absent members.
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
All right. At this time, well, a reminder, tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 5 is the open house for all of our members and to the public. So if you're still in the area, those of you who travel, we'd love to have you. We thank you for being here. And we thank everyone who spoke tonight and shared this memorable occasion with us. 125 years, and here's to 125 more for the New Albany Lodge number 270. Here. Don Craig, wouldn't you lead us in prayer, and we'll adjourn for the evening.
Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, we thank thee for the fellowship of this hour. As we begin our session in acknowledgement of thee and thy goodness and mercy, may we close by asking thy benediction. May the principles of charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity guide us until we meet again. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you.